What is up? I bring to you another spicy Monday. This one really more of a personal rant for Dean, and this is really targeted towards, and I wanted the video that I could copy paste on Reddit to mostly either startup MSPs, people who are new in the space, or the very small percentage of you that come on the internet, ask for advice, get the advice, get mad it wasn't what you wanted to hear, stomp your feet, and accuse us all of gatekeeping. That's what this video is about today. We're going to talk a little bit today about something called the normal distribution or a bell curve. And I think it's important that some of the people that I interact with a lot understand what this is, because there's a lot of advice and naysaying that happens in the community that gets called gatekeeping. And some of it is, but a lot of it really isn't, and it's people who fall into the sort of median distribution of the bell curve speaking from their expertise. And those of you that sit at the outliers need to learn how to start shutting the hell up and not taking what you think is how it works and shutting out and calling what everyone else who falls into the median is telling you. Stop calling that gatekeeping. So, on with the show. So some examples of just all sorts of things that I frequently hear we're told we're gate kept against. You know, people who say, well, I've seen this work once as a justification to go do something that the rest of us will tell you is real stupid. I've been doing this for 20 years as a justification that you're doing it right. Break fix is great. Security through obscurity. I know someone who did it successfully. I don't believe sysadmins should have to record their time. Why do I need a contract? Salespeople don't work for a living. Yada, yada, yada. Insert bullshit opinion here. Why do you think you're right with an opinion like this? And why do you think I'm gatekeeping when I tell you to shut the hell up because you're wrong? Well, this is why. Who's been to a beach or somewhere with sand? I bet most of you. And what ends up happening if you do what's in this picture right here? If you pour some sand into a pile, you'll get a pile like this. This is the natural form that all granular pouring of sand happens, and this represents a normal distribution with a significant enough population size of discrete individual samples, aka grains of sand, when they are released like this, will form a pile. Now squish that pile into 2 dimensions and you get what we're calling a normal distribution. As this graph from Investatopia shows, we can get super mathy in a normal distribution, but I don't think anyone here came to get super mathy. So if you're Connor from Finn, which is the only person who likes super math, I'm sorry, we'll have to talk about this version of the normal distribution on our own. Nobody here wants to see it. I want to show you a much simpler and prettier picture. So this is your average bell curve or normal distribution. And as you can see here, this middle line, this is the median. And most people, most answers, most thoughts, most opinions, for the sake of this video, most MSPs that are giving you advice fall in this inner blue area, which makes up the majority of MSPs. So when we are telling you to do or not do something, it is coming from existing in the middle of the bell curve where most people exist. You'll see over here there's 2 areas on either side that are less populated. There are plenty of people over here that are successful and plenty of people over here that are not successful. That's fine. When we're telling you stuff and you're crossing your arms and stomping your feet and accusing the community of gatekeeping, guess where you are? You're over here. You're on the extreme end of the bell curve. And what ends up happening is most people on to the left of the median look at the very small amount of people over here that have done something crazily successfully or weird or different and aren't on fire. And you look at that and you go, hey, that means I can do that. No, it doesn't. It doesn't mean that at all. For some asinine reason, it means a small percentage of the population was able to do it. Guess where most of us live? In the middle. Right in here. We don't live here. You don't live here. You won't be successful here. You're over here. when we tell you to do something, we're trying to tell you what the majority of people who have been successful doing the thing have done. That's this middle area, not this asinine, weird, bespoke, bizarro area over here. To give you guys a better idea of that, 68% of the distribution in a normal distribution will live within those two inner areas of the bell curve, both at about 34%. This is not an MSP thing. This is just a math thing with any sufficient size population. That means when you get advice on the internet and a bunch of us are saying the same thing, that bunch of us probably comes from over 68% of the population size, which means if you come from outside of that, we're going to round up to 70. If you come from outside of that 70, right away, you're an asshole. Because when 70% of the people in the room are telling you that there's a right way to do something, they can back up with, facts, analysis, and proven industry standards, and you're standing out there flailing your arms screaming "re" in that additional 30%, you're falling somewhere on the outside of the bell curve, which either means you're an exception and you should understand that whatever you did was an exception and does not represent the average success, and somehow presenting your exceptional experience as normal makes you a dangerous asshole, or you're over here and you're wildly uninformed and you just need to accept the fact that you don't know what you're doing, and that's okay. Given enough time and listening to the rest of us that are in the middle here, you'll end up here, which is a good thing. You don't want to live over here. But if you're stomping your feet and saying, I know better, I have 20 years experience, and you're all telling me that I need to have a contractor, I need to do MFA, whatever the thing is we're advising you on, and you're stomping your feet and saying that we're all wrong, you're not cool and you're not smart. You're over here in the most, you get my point. MSPs, y'all need to know what a bell curve is, and you need to reference the bell curve more often. So having seen all that, there's probably some of you who are still going to be, I don't know, riled up. Your jimmies are rustled. And it's the same type of people who are going to take that meme where somebody drew a number 6 or a number 9 on the ground, and they're going to be like, see, it could be 6 or 9. It's open to interpretation. No, it's not. Somebody painted a 6 or a 9. There is an actual record of truth. It was not meant to be an ambiguous number that's interpreted based on how you're standing, because that's not how information in an organized society works. And getting back to this whole bell curve idea, if your idea or your desire to go against the trend, if you think it is so smart, it's not. And that's the important detail here that I think some of you really hang on to way too strongly. You will look at people in the past who have had an idea that goes against the norm and have managed to make it work to great success. Like Apple, like Microsoft, some of the stuff Elon does is modern examples. But you're not those people. And I don't mean that you're not like wealthy, well-connected. What I mean is, in that distribution, those people are outliers at the very end. And they're outliers mostly by luck, not by skill. And that's where I think a lot of you get confused and take this as gatekeeping. Nobody is coming in and critiquing your intelligence or your skill. You've got a lot of them. It doesn't matter. Everyone else is intelligent and skilled as well. What you need is random ass luck. You need to be in the right place at the right time with random ass luck. And that's not going to happen. You can't run a business that way. So if it happens by surprise, hooray. I look forward to the next Google, Microsoft, Apple, Tesla. That's awesome. But you can't plan for that because everyone's trying to plan for that and no one succeeds at planning for that. That's why it's exceptional. So when you come into a community of established experts where most of us live in the middle of that bell curve, where we have a general recipe for success, when we tell you how to do something, it is coming from a place of the majority of us who are not on fire or are not one of those 3 celebrity inventors have successfully run our business following this formula. Follow this formula. Follow it, because you're not magically lucky. You did not discover a leprechaun's gold. You did not get 3 wishes from the Wishmaster. Stop thinking that somehow you and you alone are the only one that has uncovered the magical secrets of the lost treasure of the Sierra Madre and is going to somehow make something work that the rest of those morons on RMSP somehow couldn't figure out. Spoiler alert, you're not. You're the asshole. Have a great Monday. Oh, and a quick note on gatekeeping. Regardless of how intentionally or unintentionally stupid someone is when they ask the same question that's been asked 1,000 times and they're lazy, and we all know they're lazy and we all know they're ignorant, when instead of trying to be helpful, you instead say, no, get out, that's gatekeeping. Cut that shit out, the rest of you. Even if all you're telling somebody is search the forum, the answer exists, at least do that. Otherwise, just keep your mouth shut. We don't need to hear it.